us trying to navigate this special needs autism world. A little nervous about it, a little bit excited about it. This game is all about progress. As a mama with 5 kiddos, as a homeschool mama, as a special needs mama, I don't have time for that. Wouldn't I be making Charlotte Mason proud? Welcome back. Today's video is part of a series I've been doing here on the channel for curriculum picks for the 2024-2025 school year. So just in case you're new around here, hi, my name is Sarah. I am a homeschooling mom to 5 kiddos. They range in age from pre-K all the way up through high school. So my oldest, Noah, is in 11th grade. Leah is in 10th grade. Mariah's in 5th. Ezra is going to be doing kindergarten, and then Ava, my youngest, is in pre-K. Now, if you aren't new and you've been around my channel, you may be saying to yourself, wait a minute, didn't you do kindergarten with Ezra last year? Yeah, I did. And I have absolutely no shame in saying that we are going to continue kindergarten this year. As a lot of you know, Ezra is 6 and he is autistic, and he was officially diagnosed just about this time last year. And since then, our world has been a crazy haze of appointments and therapies and recommendations and research, and us trying to navigate this special needs autism world, trying to figure out what is the best fit for Ezra, what is the best fit for us, what's the best fit for our family. Just trying to navigate all of that has been a lot. Academics has kind of had to take a back seat this last year. A lot of times Ezra was working so hard in therapies, he was just too exhausted and too tired to work on formal schoolwork. And also, I'm assuming if you're here and you're watching this video, you are either a parent of special needs kiddo or you have interest in special needs homeschooling. And let me just say, I don't think it'll be news to you that this game is all about progress. It is not about marking things by, what the public school calls grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. It's just making slow and steady progress. And so that is what I am focusing on. I am calling this his kindergarten year again this year because he's young. He is just 6. So wouldn't I be making Charlotte Mason proud? But also just for the sake of this channel and for the sake of sharing information about curriculum, labeling it kindergarten is helpful for that. But I am very understanding that grade level may be loosey-goosey in the years to come. We will play it by ear. All right, so before we jump in and start talking all about curriculum, let me just say I will link everything that I possibly can down below in the description box, but I will also put links on my website. And if you have never been to my website, I would definitely point you there. I have worked really hard to curate information for you all where I have broken down curriculum by age, by stage, by subject on my website. So you can say, what subject did Sarah like to use in 6th grade for science? You can easily find that there. I also have an entire list of all of the videos that I have ever posted here on YouTube that have anything to do with curriculum. They're all there. Curriculum picks, curriculum reviews, wrap-ups, all of that is all there. So if you want more information, please, by all means, head to my website and know that I am a mama just making a website from my desk in my bedroom. I am by no means a professional, but trying my best to serve you all well. All right, so let's jump into all of this curriculum and probably another cup of coffee. All right, so let's start out with math, and we're gonna start with a bang because I think I have a little bit of a surprise for you guys. I surprised myself. So, many of you know that I am a self-proclaimed Math UC junkie. I have used Math UC for every single year in our homeschool all the way through. Well, that's not saying that I don't love Math UC. I do. I love Demi Learning. I love Math UC. However, after using Math UC last year for several lessons with Ezra, it became very apparent to me that it was not a great fit for him. It was just a little bit too black and white, a little bit too simple in its approach, and he needed more reinforcement and more play and more hands-on activities than just the blocks. And so I started looking around at other math programs, and although I think eventually we will end up with Math UC later down the road, for now, I'm super excited to say that we are switching to Kindergarten Math with Confidence. Now, I know there's a lot of information about this program here on YouTube and on the internet in general, so I won't share too much, but let me tell you why I am choosing this for Ezra. I am so excited about this program because it has very little handwriting, which Ezra, as a lot of you know, struggles with fine motor skills. And so any curriculum that I can find that doesn't focus heavily on handwriting, I'm going to gravitate to. Also, it is very play-based. Every single lesson has activity ideas where you can play cash register, where you can play restaurant, where you're taking toys and grouping them into like pairs. Definitely up Ezra's alley for being very interactive and play-based. I'm also going to bring his younger sister, Ava, who is 4, alongside us as we are going through this curriculum. So we will have a whole little math group, play group. It'll be great. Now, the other thing that really sold me on this curriculum is in the back, there is an entire list of math picture books that pair with every single weekly lesson or unit. And so you guys know, I love unit studies and I love picture books for kids. And so that is really what made me say, all right, we're gonna try this. Doing the math picture books to go along with the lesson every week. I'm so excited. Now, a lot of them, or at least some of them, aren't necessarily easily found in print, or they're kind of expensive. So thankfully we have a very good local library here. So I'm going to check those out from our local library as we go throughout the year. The other item that you kind of pair with Math with Confidence is you make a little math kit with counting objects and play money, pattern blocks, things like that. So when I was at the conference, Ezra loves math cubes. I picked these up for him and Ava, just this, I think there's 100, yeah, 100 linking cubes here. And I also found these are super fun. If your child doesn't put things in their mouth, this would be not safe if you have a little one who puts things in their mouth, but little mini math cubes. So I'm going to include these in the math kit that I am prepping to go along with Kindergarten Math with Confidence. Now, a couple other honorable mentions as far as math goes is we are still loving musical math facts. I picked that up last year from Sue Dixon, and it just is a plethora of math songs that pair really well with math facts. Our favorite by far is the Counting to 100 song. So I just bought a new laminated 100 board here. And so Ezra and I will turn that CD player on and we will sing Counting to 100 every single math lesson. It's one of his favorite things to do. So we'll keep utilizing this. As well as I've also started implementing this year with him, our dot-to-dot books. These are super fun. They help with counting practice, but they also help with his hand-eye coordination and a little bit of using fine motor skills. And so he just finished a dot-to-dot that was count to 10. And so now I have a count to 20, a count to 30, and then this one is just a Dover dot-to-dot. I think it has different, not too high. I don't think it goes past 20, but just different dot-to-dots in here. And again, he actually really enjoys these because he's looking at the picture and he has no idea what it is. And then when I help him, sometimes hand over hand, to do the dot-to-dot, he gets excited to see what he has drawn. So it's this has been really great for Ezra. So dot-to-dot books are a really great supplement to whatever you're doing in math. All right, so moving on to phonics or learning how to read. Some of you may have already eyed this back here on my bench. But yes, another huge change this year is I am changing phonics curriculum. I'm a little nervous about it, a little bit excited about it. So I have used Sing, Spell, Read, and Write with all of my kids, all 5 of them, all the way through, to work on learning how to read. I've also utilized Happy Cheetah when I've had a struggling reader in the past, but Sing, Spell, Read, and Write has been my bread and butter, and then Happy Cheetah sprinkled in here and there. Well, like I said, I was working through some of the Sing, Spell, Read, and Write with Ezra last year. He did really well. He really enjoys the readers, doing all of the short vowel sounds and consonant sounds. He really picked that up and was able to read several of the books pretty quickly by about halfway through the year. But then we hit a stopping point. The thing about Sing, Spell, Read, and Write is once you learn how to blend a couple of sounds, they jump very quickly into a long list of phonographs. and it's just more than he can take on at one time. And so I found myself, as much as I am familiar with the curriculum and I love it, I was having to rework it every day to try to make it fit us. And as a mama with 5 kiddos, as a homeschool mama, as a special needs mama, I don't have time for that. I don't have energy for that. I don't need to rework the wheel. There are other phonics curriculums out there that have maybe already done this for me. And so when I went to the convention, I was in full research mode, and I think I looked at every single phonics curriculum that the place had. Every single one. I flipped through them all. I had lots of long conversations at booths with different people. And let me tell you, there's a lot of good reading programs out there. But I'm going to go with just the one I have seen recommended the most for kids with special needs, and might not be a surprise to you, we are going to try All About Reading this year. It just came in the mail from Rainbow Resource. You can see it still has the cellophane on it, but I am so excited to do this curriculum with Ezra. But I think the flashcards are going to be a really good fit for him. I think all of the games and activities are going to be a good fit, how play-based it feels. The biggest thing that made my decision for me was the fact that there is, from what I can tell, 0 handwriting in this curriculum. It is all just learning to read and recognizing the words and using little hands-on things, manipulatives, letter tiles, things like that. He's not going to have to physically write any letters. And so that's pretty much what sold me on the program. The other thing I immediately caught my eye about this curriculum are the readers. I studied art when I was in college, and so I'm very picky about illustrations. And these are just beautiful. I love them so much. So the illustrations and the readers, really, they won me over. I just love them so much. So we are going to be working through All About Reading. If you are interested in me doing a vlog or a video as I am working my way through opening this curriculum and trying to cut it all apart, organize it, and get it ready for the school year, leave me a comment down below if you would be interested in going along in that process with me. I like watching those type of videos, but just let me know if you're interested in watching me set up All About Reading. All right, next up, let's talk about handwriting. And this is a hot button topic for me because Ezra struggles with fine motor skills. We're working on it so much. He goes to occupational therapy twice a week, and so we're really working on it with him. But I have a curriculum that I absolutely adore. We used it last year. Nothing is changing. We're just going to continue on. And this is Readiness in Writing from Learning Without Tears, or Handwriting Without Tears. I absolutely love this curriculum. And actually, one of his occupational therapists, she brought this to his therapy one day, and she works on this with him every week at therapy. So that's just wonderful supplement. All last year, we really worked hard on all of the hands-on activities. So the roll-a-dough letters, where you take Play-Doh and make different letters with it. I have all of the laminated wooden block cards where you're using, oh, my L is upside down, wooden curves and lines to build the different letters of the alphabet. I have the I call it a Magnadoodle. I think it's called a Stampin' See. We focused a lot on those type of activities, Matman, things like that. I do have this book for him, the My First School book. We didn't even get halfway through, although I will say the amount of handwriting for him, for being a child with special needs and fine motor skills, being an issue, this was the appropriate amount of challenge for him. If you're not familiar with it, let me find a good page. Here is letter P for pale. So you can build it with the blocks. You can use the chalkboard to wet, dry, try writing the letter P. And then you just have 1, 2, 3, 4 very large letter P's that you can try to write, and then some coloring if you want to do that. And that could just be 1 day's worth of handwriting. So that's very appropriate for Ezra. It's been a really good fit. He hasn't been frustrated by that amount of handwriting, so we're just gonna keep on keeping on. All right, staying in the language arts vein of things, let's move on to literature or reading aloud. So if you follow me here on YouTube and you see my shorts, you have probably seen all of the literature unit studies that I've been working on this year with Ezra and Ava. This last year we used Before 5 in a Row as a guide, and I would read a picture book every day for 5 days with them, and then we would do some type of fun activity or snack or craft to go along with that book every day for the week. And this was a hit. The two of them would wake up every morning and ask, "Oh mama, can we please read Katie No Pocket?" or whatever book it was that week. They really got into it, and they loved our literature studies. Something that Ezra in particular loved were sensory bins that I would create to go along with each of our books. Now, I know mamas, I think it's very hit or miss. We either love sensory bins or we hate sensory bins, and I am in the camp of loving them, and my kids love them. So we love sensory bins. All of that to say, I'm going to continue along that same thing for literature this year, except I'm going to make them myself. Instead of following Before 5 in a Row or 5 in a Row, I am going to use books I already have on hand. So, like so many homeschool mamas out there, I have collected quite a few picture books for children through the years. I have shelves and shelves full in the basement, and sometimes I feel like we are not utilizing what we already own and have on hand enough. And so my goal this year is to pull picture books from our shelves that we already own, read them to Ezra and Ava, and come up with my own crafts and activities and snacks to go along with it. I'm gonna try to maybe do it seasonal based, I think. Back to school books in August, and fall books in September through October, winter books in January. So here's just a couple examples. For instance, Ox Cart Man. This is one of my favorite books, and I love to read this either in the fall or in the spring. This would be a great one to do a unit study about. For Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving Bowl. So many fun activities we could do along with this. When it is snowing outside, we could do Owl Moon. So I'm hoping to use very classic picture books that I already have here under my roof and just create some fun sensory bins, crafts, activities, and snacks to go along with them. Real quick, speaking of sensory bins, I do just want to highlight, I went to her booth when I was at the convention and fell in love. This is Sear Shoals Educational Enrichment Resources, and they had this beautiful booth full of sensory bin kits, and they had several out for kiddos to play with, but it just has everything you need to create a sensory bin in this little divided box. So some of them were $12, some of them were $15. It just depends. She is an online shop. I will be sure to link it below, but I'm so impressed with the amount of items that come in each kit and how well they are themed. Ezra's been on a pirate kick, so I went ahead and bought him the Pirate Sensory Story Kit. It has a treasure chest, a message in a bottle, water beads, black beans, seashells, kinetic sand, little plastic plants and animal figures, a pirate figure. I mean, there's just so much in this little box that we can put into a sensory bin for him. And again, it's all here. I don't have to come up with it. I don't have to create it, just once and done. So I really loved this. I will definitely be looking in to see if she has any specific kits that I can pair with some of the books I'm going to be using. As I spill sand all down the front of me. All right, moving on to history, geography, social studies. I don't know how you want to categorize this one, I guess, but we are going to do something a little bit more formal with Ezra this year. I really just wanted something that I could sit down, was open and go, and would cover those type of subjects with him. So I saw this at the convention, perused it, and immediately knew this was the right pick for us. This is My Story K, My Family, My Life, and this is by Master Books. Now, I love that this is a textbook and a workbook all in one, and when I went through the table of contents, I quickly realized that so many of the items being discussed are things that I'm working on with Ezra anyways, things that his therapist is working on with him. So for instance, Quest 1, My Family and Culture, Where We Live, Who My Family Is, Good Food and Nutrition, The next quest is my citizenship. So community leaders, resolving conflicts, friends, traditions around the world. Next up is my geography, which just goes over some very basic map and community identification skills. And then financial things. One of the lessons I flipped to was describing what the difference is between a need and a want. Just wonderful topics, but that are also presented with very big pictures and not a lot of text. And so this is going to be a quick win where I can sit and read and look at a couple pictures with him. It's not going to take a lot of time. And again, it doesn't require a lot of handwriting or fine motor skills, but it's just a very, very simple kindergarten history, social studies, geography curriculum. And so I'm excited. I think it'll be a really good fit for Ez and I to sit down a few times a week. Next, let's talk about science. This is another subject we will not be doing every day, but just twice, maybe 3 times a week, depending. So yeah, that's what this huge stack of books is here for. If you have seen my 5th grade curriculum picks for Mariah, you will see that she is going to be going through it's master books and or answers in Genesis, but God's design for heaven and earth. And so she's going to be studying topics of weather, water, planet Earth, and outer space. And so because she's already going to be doing that, I decided that I wanted to do a literature-based study with Ezra for science. Shocker. And I wanted to pick up a bunch of picture books that I could pair alongside what she is already reading in science. As I was perusing Rainbow Resources website, I just happened to find, I was looking into the Let's Read and Find Out books. These are some of my favorite books for elementary school for science topics. Well, they had them grouped together, large chunks of them that you could buy in a group that covered a specific topic. I purchased their entire chunk of books about weather and seasons, our Earth, and outer space. So my plan is, I know I could have picked all of these up at my local library, but I just kind of wanted to own them. I will definitely use these with multiple kiddos and they will resell very easily down the road if I want to or need to. But I have this huge stack of picture books that I plan to read through with Ezra to introduce those type of science topics to him. We'll probably read 1 or 2 a week and get through this entire stack in the school year. So moving on to Bible. Ezra and Ava are going to be reading through the Beginner's Bible together. This is something we've actually already started, and I have talked about my love for the Yodo on the channel before, but I just want to mention it again. We're going to be reading through that Bible, and so I went ahead and I did a make your own card and made my own sticker of the cover, and I made each of them a Beginner's Bible Yodo card that they can listen to on their Yodo, as well as Mama reading it with them every morning. This has already just worked wonders. Ezra loves to grab his Yodo card and his Bible and lay on his bed and look through the pictures as the Yodo is reading aloud to him. It's been wonderful to get him excited and interested in reading the Bible. Now, if you're not familiar with what a Yodo is, I would definitely send you to their website. I'm an affiliate of theirs, but it is just an audio book box, music box for kiddos. It has a very simple clock and visual here on the front, and these cards, which are the size of a credit card, are kind of like, this dates me, but CDs or a tape. And you put it in and it will read the track that you left off on. So it will read aloud. You can record yourself, or you can find other MP3s to put on your Yodo cards. But then you can pick out different visuals to put for each chapter. So for here, I have a sun and the water for creation. I found a picture of Adam and Eve for the story in the garden. This is number 4. There's a picture of Noah's Ark with a rainbow over top of it. So this helps Ezra to be able to navigate between the different stories. There is amazing volume control that I can even override from my own phone. So if he is listening to this too loud, I can physically turn the volume limit down so that he can't turn it up too loud. But we use the Yodo for all kinds of things. I'm finding all kinds of new uses for it in our homeschool and with Ezra. So many picture books, chapter books, learning activities that we can do. All right, and then last up, just some honorable mentions, some extras or some fun educational activities that I like to work on with Ezra. So I've talked about this before on some of my autism help videos, but loopy scissors, these have been great for Ezra to learn for his cutting practice because he doesn't have to figure out where his fingers go. He just can grab and squeeze. I love pairing these with the Kumon cutting books. I've used these with all of my kids, but Ezra in particular has benefited from these. They are just very, very simple cutting pages. For instance, here is a teddy bear, and he just has to go through and snip, 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 snip the arms and the legs, and then he has cut out a teddy bear. So exciting for him. So I love these books. They aren't very expensive and they obviously don't take a whole lot of time, but we'll continue to keep working through some of these cutting books with our loopy scissors. Another item that I have talked about a lot here on the channel are these smart games. Sorry, they're making a little bit of noise. This one is the Camelot Junior that I purchased for him last year. He absolutely loves this board game. If you're not familiar with it, it essentially just gives you a card that has a challenge where you are trying to build the blocks in a certain order to allow the knight to get to the princess. Very logic based. He worked through all of the beginner ones very quickly and got up into the expert and master cards. And so I just love these smart games, this whole line. Feel free to check out my Amazon store. I have a bunch more of these linked there. But I was really surprised. I was at a secondhand sale this spring and somebody in plastic bags here was selling some of these smart games with all of the pieces included. This one was $4 and this one was $3. So this one, let's just open it. This first one is their challenge car building game where you are fitting different blocks in this vehicle. And this next one, it kind of reminds me of Camelot Junior, but it's kind of just a different variation where you're building castles. These are especially helpful when I need something to just kind of keep Ezra busy while I'm making lunch or while I'm working on something with one of his siblings and I want him to have focused time that keeps his hands busy. These games have been great for that. These games are also wonderful because they don't require turn taking. They're one-player games, and so he can just sit and play this by himself without having to worry about that stress of taking turns or having to follow a bunch of specific game rules. These have been great for Ezra. All right, guys, well, that wraps things up. As always, if you have not done so, be sure to subscribe and stick around to the channel, especially if you are a special needs mom or dad. I am trying to post more content specifically about autism and about Ezra and things that we have found helpful or encouraging along our journey with him. So be sure to stick around if you would like to see more content as far as that goes. And if you have any requests, let me know down in the comments. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Have a great week. Needless to say, I have to turn down the baby monitor. Hold, please. Oh, I gotta reach math. Oh, it's so far away. Our garbage man is here picking up the trash. So if you hear that in the background, sorry. So, oh, speaking of, hi, as I spill sand all down the front of me. Well, that was not good.